Hi everyone and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide and the next video in our Future Of series. In this series of videos I share my predictions and wish lists for various different theme parks. In this video I'm going to be sharing my opinions on the future of Legoland Windsor Resort. Now Legoland Windsor opened back in 1996 in a beautiful location, very hilly but it's very beautiful, and the views towards Windsor Castle from the park are absolutely stunning. Now when this opened in 1996 it was actually built on the former location of the Windsor Safari Park. So maybe some of you watching this visited. Comment down below, I would love to know. And like I say, with Legoland Windsor, the views that you get, especially when you walk into this park, are absolutely stunning. And it's one of my favourite locations actually ever for a theme park. The views are absolutely incredible. Now, when it opened in 1996, it was actually the second of the Legoland parks to be built. Of course, the original was in Billund in Denmark, where Lego, of course, comes from. And yes, this was the second one to be built. So, you know, it's actually one of the older Legoland parks now compared to how many new ones Merlin Entertainments and Lego have been opening over the years. So let's start off then, shall we, by talking about my predictions on what I think is going to be happening at Legoland Windsor. Of course, we already know what's happening for this year, 2021. They've got the Mythica themed area, all based around mythical creatures. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's got the UK's first flying theatre. There's going to be 2 drop towers. They've also rethemed a couple of bits in there as well. And it's going to be a fantastic area. And we can't wait to get down there here at Theme Park Worldwide and check it out. We'll be bringing you all the different coverage. As soon as we can get down there to check it out and it opens, we will be. So yes, we know Mythica's coming. And this is kind of all sort of leading on now to the first thing I want to talk about in my predictions, and that's the kind of push to make Legoland Windsor a 365 park, which basically means operating throughout the year. Now when I say 365, it doesn't necessarily mean it would open Christmas Day and Boxing Day or every single day, but with the aim of opening it for most of the year, you know, being open every month out of 12 months in the year, which I definitely think Legoland Windsor are pushing towards now, especially when some of the other Legoland parks seem to be going that way too. And also it's actually the busiest theme park here in the UK. Their gate figure in 2019 was 2.4 million visitors, making it an even busier theme park than Alton Towers. So I think the first prediction for me is we're going to see them continue to install a lot more indoor based attractions, increasing the park's capacity, putting in new accommodation and making it the UK's first really fully fledged theme park resort that's all year round. So I can definitely see that happening over the next few years and doing little things like that to keep it open all year, which of course is great for them and great for us because it means there's always going to be a major theme park to visit. Now along with that, let's talk about accommodation, shall we? So I really do feel like we're going to see the holiday village happen at some point in the next few years. Of course this was all presented in their 10-year plan, so we know this is kind of what they want to do. From what I remember, they wanted to put in upwards of 400 lodges across 2 different phases, and where this was going to be located according to the plans was actually nowhere near the 2 current hotels what they've got, and actually built on a site that isn't really used for anything now, maybe a little bit of overflow parking, but other than that up near the actual entrance to the park. So yeah, you can see that in the plans just here exactly where they want to put that. So with this holiday village, like I say, I'm expecting it to be built in 2 phases, like they kind of said really in their 10-year development plan. Barrel style glamping to larger family lodges, so a bit of everything really. And I guess what will really make this is how close it's going to be to the entrance of the park as well. With the 2 current hotels, they're great and they look over the lake, but I think it'll be nice to split the accommodation up and of course have these lodges that are very immersive. I imagine it'll look very similar in a way to the Enchanted Village at Alton Towers. Of course this is going to feature a Lego theme and be less about fairy tales, but in terms of how that setup is, there'll probably be you know, their own little reception building. You can see that in the plans, like a restaurant, entertainment area and that kind of setup. And the Enchanted Village is beautiful actually at Alton Towers. I'd say it's my favourite accommodation at the Alton Towers Resort, so it's great to see that Legoland have already sort of included that in their 10-year plan, and I think we're going to see phase 1 built in the next few years and phase 2 shortly after. I really feel like that's something they're going to do. do. Along with that, we know they want to do some more upgrades to the entrance. I mean, over the past couple of years, the beginning, as it's called, the entrance to Legoland Windsor, has had a lot of work done to it. However, I do feel like they're going to do some more up there. And of course, with the attendance increasing every year to Legoland Windsor, making it a bigger entrance area, I think is something what they could do. We're looking at maybe improving the security bag check areas, putting more of those in maybe. So on the busier days, you're not waiting as long. But yeah, I can definitely see there being some more changes to the entrance. And I imagine that'll all come really when they put this new accommodation in, because they're going to want some nice pathways all from this accommodation, all through the car parks and to the entrance to make it as connected as they can do, and also as safe as possible. So of course, children who are visiting the park aren't running across car parks and stuff to get there. I think they'll really think about all the entrance infrastructure at some point with what they're looking to do in the future. Along with that then, in terms of new attractions, I can see them going for more indoor rides moving forwards, possibly a few different indoor rides, but maybe even changing the use of some of the existing buildings, what they've got. We know that Legoland Windsor do have quite a few issues when it comes to getting planning applications passed and actually getting the permission to build rides. They've had noise issues over the years. You might remember the old coaster they used to have down where the hotels are now, and that coaster unfortunately did have to be removed from the park because, yeah, you know, it was too noisy. They even had to put like plastic shields, like perspex on the front to contain the noise, but it wasn't enough and it did kind of ruin the ride experience then. So they removed that coaster and actually sent it over to Legoland Florida, which is where it operates to this day. Went on that a couple of years ago and it was good to get back on it actually. So yeah, I can see them putting in some more indoor rides. Then there's not really sound issues to worry about as well. A site that I know they've been wanting to use for quite a while is actually near to the Fire Academy, just down from like Coast Guard HQ and that whole area of the park. Then yeah, there were quite a big site there, which we know in the past have looked at plans for putting a large building on there. So that's something we could possibly see in the future. In terms of what attraction it will be, I'd like to see an Omnimover style dark ride at the park. I know they tend to take up a bit more space, but I'd love to see something like that where you go through maybe 6 or 7 big scenes, you know, not interactive as such, but just an enjoyable dark ride. I think would be great. Possibly even a trackless dark ride. I mean, you've got to look at the new Legoland New York theme park that's opening this year. Now they've put in this state-of-the-art Lego trackless ride that looks amazing. So possibly something like that would be amazing at Windsor, and it would really fit with their whole sort of aim that I think they're going for to open 365. Along with that, I can see them just generally updating some more of the areas. I mean, they've been going around putting new attractions in for quite a few years now, and they've got to, you know, especially when the gate figures are well over 2 million, nearly 2.5 million. It's big numbers for them. So they've really got to think about capacity now and making sure they've got as many rides in the park as they can do, plenty of accommodation for people to stay at, and just a general infrastructure, more toilet facilities, more restaurants. All that stuff comes when your park keeps getting busier and busier like Legoland is. So yeah, I can see them possibly changing the Imagination Centre area up there, because that's quite a big space with quite a lot of room for some more attractions in my opinion. Along with that, continuing to update Miniland is something that I really hope they do in the future. They've got a great team that looks after Miniland and all the Lego models, but I'd love to see them, instead of taking away some parts to put new bits in, actually making Miniland itself even bigger, possibly even an undercover area. What I really liked about Legoland Dubai was the fact it had a big cover over. Now, I wouldn't sort of do that to the whole of Miniland, but I would look at some sort of cover over part of it, or possibly like a retractable roof, a bit like one of the tennis courts at Wimbledon. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it? And again, this all kind of fits with, they want to be open more over winter. They already do a Christmas event, but even more so throughout the colder months. And then they could have a roof that goes over it, or, you know, even part of it that's indoors. I'd love to see them do something like that, but then it wouldn't take away from the experience, you know, on a nice hot summer's day. So there we go. Should we move on to my wish list then now? There are predictions. Some of those I definitely think are going to happen. They're in that 10-year plan, but some of them, you know, just kind of twisting a little bit to see what I would do in there now with my my wish list. So I would put in a nice high capacity roller coaster. In my opinion, Legoland Windsor really needs a nice high capacity ride. There's been rumours over the years, down by the lake, they were looking at doing like a launch coaster many years ago. There's been all sorts of rumours and plans and speculation, but they've never come to fruition. We know they've got 3 coasters. They've got the Dragon, which of course is a great family ride, mix of dark ride and outdoor sections. And then they've got the Dragon's Apprentice and the Duplo Dino coaster. So there's only the 3, but I'd love to see them put in a nice high capacity ride. Now, Let's look at the original Legoland, shall we, in Billund, Denmark. I've not been here, but it's on my bucket list. I want to go. And yeah, with this, they've actually got a ride called Polar Explorer, which looks great. It's a Zero family coaster. It opened in 2012. Features quite a good layout. It's got a 16-foot vertical drop track, so kind of similar to what Intamin did with 13 at Alton Towers. And but yeah, it's manufactured by Zero. Something like that would be brilliant at Legoland Windsor. Now, you've got to think about the location of where that would go. As I've already mentioned, the Imagination Centre, that's quite a good space where they could put something, possibly down by the Castaway Camp play area down in Knight's Kingdom. That's quite a big plot when you look on Google Maps. There's a few spaces, but then you've got to think they've got to get permission for it, and also as well, they've got to think about the noise. Like, once they've built it, are they going to have any noise issues? So Legoland Windsor do need another coaster, and it needs to be high capacity. It needs to be running 3 trains, you know, to really shift the people through. But it's thinking about what they can do. Does that mean they possibly make more of an indoor coaster? Do they do something a bit like Polar Explorer and build like mountains up around it to make sure all the screams are kept inside tunnels? I don't know, but I'd love to see them go for a heavily themed Lego roller coaster at Legoland at some point in the future. And I really feel like something like Polar Explorer would be great. It's not too thrilling, but it's just enough to fit into a Legoland park. Then really for me, it's carrying on what they're doing, and that's upgrading different areas. There's a couple of rides that I really feel like need some more theming and work around them. The first one of those, if you've watched the vlogs, you'll know my love-hate relationship with this ride. I enjoy the water ride, but it really does need some more theming. It's Viking River Splash. Now, it's not a bad ride, but what it needs is some more theming, audio and effects. And the first thing I would do is actually fill in some more of the land, so the trough actually sinks into the land like any other normal rapids out there at the world. Basically what they need to do is just fill it in with soil so it actually looks a lot better finished off. I would then add in some indoor scenes. I would then put some more special effects onto the ride. A few years ago they took out the big buckets on there. I don't really know why, but yeah, that was all removed and it's been a bit bland since. So I would look at some more theming, possibly a re-theme of the ride as well. As they were doing this, of course that makes it more marketable for them if they're spending money to change it. But yeah, I feel like that's quite low standards now compared to some of the newer installations that they've put in at Legoland. And then another ride that really bugs me with how little it is themed is Mia's Riding Adventure. I'd love to see them do more with that. I mean, the Zamperla Disco, I like how you sit, of course, on the little ponies, the little horses, but you know what? It needs some theming on the sides. You might be thinking, hang on a minute, the park's aimed at kids, you know, like they're not going to notice this, but honestly, I really feel like a lot of them will notice when something's not as good as something else in the park. Yeah, there's no excuse really. The park have done really heavy theming. Why are them two attractions sort of subpar now with the theming? So I think they should bring both of them up to, you know, the standard what they set throughout the rest of the park, in my opinion. I'd also try and sort out the back of the Haunted House Monster Party. That's something that does annoy me quite a bit. I know they painted some stuff on it, but I would try and grow some planting at the back. I know they've planted trees, but grow something up the back of it, what sort of grows really quick to kind of cover in the back of the show building, and just add a few more little bits on there just to make it look a little bit better. And then the final thing really on my wish list, not loads of stuff that I would change, because I do really like what they've been doing, but that would be food operations and overall quality of the food. Now, it is expensive. We're in a theme park. I expect to pay more expensive prices. That's fine. And it's the most expensive theme park food probably in the UK, in my opinion, at Legoland Windsor for the portion size that you get and the offering. But I would love to see them just improve the food offering. I know the prices aren't going to come down, but just improve the offering, and also more undercover indoor seating areas. I really feel like if the park are going to be going more 365, like they seem to be going down that route of, then I really want to see them put in some more spaces just to chill out inside. Possibly a new indoor show venue would be nice. You know, maybe doing like a dinner show even, you know, that could be a cool option. Somewhere where there's a big stage and then you can go and get your food and come and sit down and watch the show. Something like that I think would be fantastic at Legoland Windsor in the future. But there you go. They're my predictions and wish list for the park. I like what they're doing. I'm looking forward to Lego Mythica, and yes, I would love to know your thoughts and suggestions down below. Maybe there's some things that you think you would do straight away that I've missed. Maybe there's some bits out there that you would change. I would absolutely love to know. So as always, let me know down below in the video comments. In terms of videos, there's still new videos every single day here on Theme Park Worldwide. We can't wait to be back in the parks in just over a month's time now. But in the meantime, still lots of videos here from Theme Park Worldwide HQ to keep you in the loop with what's happening and just keep you entertained. So thanks for joining me, Sean Sandbrook, and get out there and keep on riding. See you in the next video.